This is the Simpit. I'm your host, Sean Cole, and welcome to today's edition of the Pit Stop, where you, the pit crew, you are the real star of today's show. Happy January, Happy New Year to everybody, in case you missed last week's show. Things are starting off a little bit slow with the New Year's to be expected, and I don't have a lot to talk about today, but that's okay. And if you think about it, today might be the day that all the sim companies are finally coming back to work. I think everybody was pretty much out of work last week with the interesting holiday schedule, New Year's, holidays, Christmas, all that stuff. So I think that did have an effect on the news throughout that period of time. But if you're anything like me, it was a lot of opportunity to do some driving, do some racing, take care of some other projects. Maybe you have other hobbies or interests or family life that you had to attend to. In my case, it was a lot of cleanup work. A lot of cleanup work for the Simpit. Just making sure all my graphics were in order, trying to make sure that the shop was in order, do a little rearranging with storage, all that kind of stuff, just to make sure that production in 2019 was going to get off to a good start with a lot of momentum. So I am up to full speed, but the sim racing world isn't quite there just yet. But let's see, what else? Before we even get to the news, since we are a little short on news, and with Billy on Friday, we've been doing our Friday shows, the Pit Stop with Sean Cole and Billy Strange, and it's a little more conversational than just rattling through the news. But with that show, we always do a little bit of what have you been driving. So I just kind of wonder, what have you guys been driving through the holidays? What are you guys looking forward to in 2019 in the world of sim racing? We are at that point. It is the beginning of January. I'm not just talking goals here, but what are you looking forward to this year in sim racing? What do you think is going to make turn the biggest heads, be the biggest deal, or the thing that you yourself maybe are most interested in? Myself, this weekend, we did some Wreckfest on Friday. That was with the patron group, just spontaneous. Everyone's hanging out on a Friday night. What the heck? Let's do some Wreckfest. And we did, and we had a great time doing it. And then the entire weekend, Saturday and Sunday, was all about preparation for the iRacing Daytona 24. Me and the entire Simpit Rick Motec Endurance team, we practiced a lot on Saturday and a lot on Sunday. And this, I think I've mentioned it before, but this race coming up on the 19th and 20th of January, or a weekend and a half from now, that particular race is going to be very, very interesting, because we've been doing a lot of testing, and you can have a setup that you're very, very happy with under nighttime conditions, for example. Take that same setup to the daytime, and all of a sudden it's a nightmare. And vice versa. Dial in a setup for the daytime and take it to night. You just find it's really off the pace, and it's really interesting. It's in some ways, and I'm not saying that the relationship between what we do and how we deal with the car is identical to what they are doing. I'm sure it's not, in fact. Let's not even go there. But I am certain that we are having to adapt much like they are. Now, again, some of the changes, some of the things that we do is a little bit different, but the process is the same. Ill-handling car. Car worked great at night, doesn't work good at the day. What are you going to do? Do you dial the car in for night? Do you dial the car in for day? Do you keep trying to find that one perfect set that deals with them both oh so well, which we have not done yet? But I am feeling good. The Simpit pit crew, the Simpit Endurance, Rick Motec Endurance team, the guys have put in a lot of work, and we are looking good. We're not going to be top split contenders. That's not even our goal. Right now, our goal coming off of 2018 is consistency and bringing the car home for finishes. So that's our goal, and you can stay with us. Wednesday night we'll have a practice. I'll be airing that. We're testing new stream. If you didn't get a chance out, yesterday's stream wasn't the most professional stream in the world. It was a little clunky still, because we were still testing, but we are doing some things to get you some picture-in-picture and some really cool features that I don't think you've seen many places when it comes to 24-hour race streams. So anyway, that's enough of that. Let's move on to the news and see what's going on today in the world of sim racing. Starting off with the guys out of dirt, and this came out on the 3rd. So some of this is, I have to go back because we do have long weekends and short weeks and all that going on right now. But what this is John Armstrong of Codemasters doing a Dirt Rally 2.0 live stream that went on the 3rd. And in this, it is actually showing the mixed surfaces of Poland. We see a little cobblestone there. We see a little dirt action there. Tight racing. Very, very tight quarters through this industrial complex looking area. With those big tire barriers, you got the natural barriers of trees, and you can see John obviously knows this track well and is doing very well on his drive. That's like a pro rally drive going on right there. But just a little teaser, just a little flavor, just a little taste of what's coming from Dirt Rally 2.0. And when I think about things that we're all excited about for 2019, I'm guessing this is going to be on the top of a lot of people's list. So that came out again on the 3rd, and you'll find that at the Codemasters Twitter page. In addition to that, GT Planet has a couple stories worth mentioning or talking about. On the 17th of January will be the next GT Sport update. I've lost count on how many updates they've done for GT Sport, and a lot of them have been extremely significant updates. I mean, a lot of them have been very, very significant updates. Anyway, the next update for GT Sport comes on the 17th, and along with it will be 8 more cars, and they did another one of these wonderful teaser photos. I do love these teaser photos. What can I make out in this photo? I hope you guys have already started playing the game. You know when I show one of these, you better know what's coming next. What is that? That looks like a Shelby GT350 in the bottom right. Pretty much bet my house on that. Above that to the left slightly, sure looks like a Cabriolet 356 Porsche, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, I almost can make out a couple of those others. That looks like maybe a Jaguar convertible. If we keep going down the diagonal line from that Shelby, I can't see much, but it looks like a European 2-seater slit windshield, which is kind of where I got the Jag. Didn't Jag do a version of the convertible with a windshield that was only about that tall? Anyway, some cool cars. Did they give us any teases here in their write-up? They said a 356 Porsche. Okay, that's one that I got. Yep. I think it's the Cabriolet, though. That looks convertible to me. Oh, come on. No. That's not what we want. We want this one. That sure looks convertible to me with this line right there. One looks like a Nissan. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't just... That looks like a BMW Z8, maybe? This top right? I love looking at these pictures and trying to figure out what content... Max, can you tell? Can you see what picture that is? I can't get your ball. It's way over there. Go get it. Go get it, buddy. I can't play with it over there. Also at GT Planet, and this is great. John Hill's in the house. John Hill's going to be thrilled to hear this. Jan Martinborough. I'm going to call this the superhero of superheroes in the sim racing world. This is the original, not the original. I think there was a GT Academy prior to him. But if you don't know Jan Martinborough, because it all happened so long ago now that many people might not even think of him as a sim racer. But this guy won GT Academy like 8 years ago or so, 5 years, 6 years ago. And he got the whole GT Academy. He got the whole working with and driving for Nissan. And he has had a very, very spectacular real-life racing career that has not really stopped. Whereas a lot of the other guys that you can look at who have been through the GT Academy maybe got a race season, maybe a season and a half, maybe a season and a few cameo appearances here and there. But Jan Martinborough's career has continued on and on and on. Anyway, turns out that he's going to do a test drive in the Formula E for Nissan. So we might see Jan Martinborough in Formula E, which is, I think you could make the argument it's going to be one of the fastest growing motorsport series. There's a lot of promotion and money going into that series, so it's gonna grow at a certain type of rate. Already have the Type E, yeah, but yes, Tim, they do have the Type E, but you do have to understand that the bottom right is a Ford Mustang GT, but not a GT. I believe that's a Ford GT or Shelby GT. That's the 67 fastback, and there is a different variation as well. But that's the dated version, right? Dr. Respect. Anyway, lot of money going into Formula E, and you're going to see it grow and grow and grow because of that. McLaren Shadow, a lot of big competitions going on right now. So, there are various levels of esport, various ways of looking at esport right now. You've got esport on the very professional side of things, where it's just straightforward F1 2018 competition, Heat 3 competition, iRacing competition, season schedule, draft days, all that kind of stuff. And then you have more of the independent type events that are going on as well that aren't maybe tied to a series or tied to anything in particular. but are going on. But one of them is the McLaren Shadow. And McLaren Shadow, for those who haven't been paying attention or watching the show often, McLaren Shadow is very similar to, but different than the original version that Rudy Van Buren went on to win, that sim tester. He's the sim guy for McLaren, at McLaren. This is a little bit different. It is not exactly the same. It's a similar type of competition. But anyway, that is now coming down. So January 16th and 17th is when this competition is going to play out. You're going to have 7 drivers, 5 games. That's right. They're going to be running like R Factor, iRacing, Real, what was that real game called? Real Drive, Real Race, Race Real, Real 3. Anyway, they're doing 5 different types of games. 7 drivers having the shootout, and there will be 1 winner declared in the end. So, there you go on that. One thing I did want to mention, and thank you, Doug Hawley. Doug Hawley gets the thank you donation. There's a donation made before I even got the show going. So, I just want to thank you, Doug Hawley. It means a lot. It means a lot, buddy. Thank you. Didn't want to forget about that. In addition to that, so that's on January 16th and 17th, McLaren Shadow is going to play out. In addition to that, the Race of Champions. Remember the EROC? Remember that when Enzo Benito and Rudy Van Buren went to the Race of Champions and represented sim racing? Well, they're going to do it again. And so last year's champion, Enzo, is actually already in. But Team Veloce's James Baldwin, who won the December EROC Invitational, Sebastian Job, who raced in Formula Ford in the UK last year, gets a wild card, and Nils Najux. Oh, hey, Nils, longtime sim racer. Nils Najux also in, and Brendan Lay is going to be in on that. I got to double check I can't keep messing his name up forever. I got to get Brendan's name right. They're going to all be put into a shootout, and they are going to become the Team Sim Racing All-Stars. The winner of that is going to join Enzo Benito to be in the next EROC Championship. So there's a shot at Enzo and Rudy right there in the little KTM looking car. So anyway, that's all going on. I saw, yeah, at the bottom they say Joseph Newgarden, Ryan Hunter-Ray, but EROC, really cool competition. I mean, back in my day when I was a kid, it was just the Race of Champions. It wasn't called Rock. It was just Race of Champions. It goes all the way back to running like 911 Porsches. It ended up being in Camaro IROC. I don't know if you guys remember. I mean, for you young guys, there was the IROC Z28 Camaro. IROC stood for International Race of Champions. But, I mean, this has been going on for decades in various different versions. I will say that I love the latest version that they do. The stadium racing, multiple disciplines on like an autocross type of a track. EROC is a bit of a joke. Yeah, well, we could talk about that. That is different than what I'm talking about, Race of Champions, Mitchie. The EROC is weird because it's sort of funny how they select their winners. It's not a straightforward competition, so to speak. But the Race of Champions is awesome, and I love, because back in the day, when you'd see the IROCs running on an oval, you're like, well, of course all the NASCAR guys are going to win. Or when you'd see the 911s on the road course, you're like, well, of course the NASCAR guys have not a chance in hell. The roadies, oh, Doug Hawley, look at you. Look at you, big Doug today. Thank you so much, Doug. Anyway, but now with the latest competition, I think it is a really good way of testing all of the great drivers of different disciplines in a somewhat fair way. I think it favors rally car drivers, if not anything else. But anyway, that is going on. What are the dates for this tournament going on? Do I have a date somewhere here in this article on Autosport? I found this at Autosport, by the way. So you know Motorsport and Autosport is the two real-life motor journalism sites that are now covering esports at times. I do not have a date, but I know that there is a website for EROC. Maybe somebody can provide a link or let me know and I can provide a link. Sorry, I don't have it handy for you guys, but I try to. In addition to that, I talk lots of esports stuff going on, right? Well, in addition to that, if you got Heat 3 for Christmas, there's still time to register to qualify and possibly compete in the first ever NASCAR Heat 3 Pro League. They have a video here, but basically be a team driver, sign a contract, and go pro. Get drafted. Well, first, it's register to race. I'm reading it upside down. This is the little video that they have. Register to race. get drafted. So remember when Dale and Kelly were talking about making your pew 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 pew? Is that what you wanted, Doug? Is that what you were pew pew? There's my turbo snort. That's all I got. Anyway, you do need to make a persona. If you want to be a big deal in this NASCAR Heat 3, part of it seems that it's going to be your driving ability. And at the same time, it also is part of your personality, your marketability, your online presence. That's why there's that video about making a video about yourself. So anyway, I think that the door is wide open for new stars. I mean, you could be looking at somewhere between 20 and 40 drivers who are going to get a really good shot at being in the pro league of Heat 3. Someone asked about becoming a patron or getting in on our Discord. Our Discord channel is part of the patron program. There's a link to the patron program in the description of the show here. And be forewarned, I am about to redo the patron program slightly and change the perks around a little bit. Some that have not been given, and then others that have changed or getting better even. So, anyway, just so you know, that's what's going on there. What else is going on? Not a lot left to talk about today. This is big news. Anybody who goes to CES, Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas, this is one of the biggest trade shows on planet Earth. 2019, I believe that is on the... what are the dates of CES this year? 16th and 17th? 16th through 19th, I think? Oh, but CES, the big deal about CES this year is that at the Earthquake Sound booth, you're actually going to have sim experience. They're going to have 4 motion simulators running VR. And more importantly, and I have one on my seat. Many of you have busted me. I've been trying to keep it hush-hush. I've been trying to keep it a secret on my streams that I've been testing and using and reviewing, currently reviewing a GS5 G4 seat from Sim Experience. But the thing is a little bit noisy, and you can actually, it almost looks like I'm in a motion seat. You can actually see the motion happening. So that actually is going on in my rig. But if you want to feel it, you want to experience it, you go by the Earthquake Sound booth, and you're going to see 4. I believe they're going to have them on 4 different rigs. And that should be pretty cool. And I know a lot of you guys do go to CES, so that's going to be pretty cool for anybody there. But again, Earthquake Sound Booth, CES this year, Sim Experience there with 4 motion sims running VR and the GS5 G Seat. Pressers. Oh, so CS is already. I should look it up and get you that date. Thank you very much, Brad. What else? I don't normally cover this one, but we're a little bit light on news. And this is also kind of CES related. But apparently, InSync at CES is announcing G-Sync compatible monitors and BFGD pre-orders. So, this is a big deal with the whole G-Sync, N-Sync, V-Sync, N-Sync thing going on. So more and more going on, and I've seen a lot of different monitor news from like Samsung, and I'm not going to cover hardware, but if you are in the hardware world or you're looking to upgrade anything in your sim racing world on the hardware side, like computers or monitors or things like that, with CES going on, there's going to be a lot of news and probably a lot of even deals happening following CES. So that's one more thing. And then the last thing I have to talk about is something just really good. Cool thing for the community. Our very own Mitchie Hoyer, who's here in the booth with us, took part in the Nikki Thim fan page 12-hour of spa charity event for the Danish Childhood Cancer Foundation. And so this was a 12-hour race. Mitchie, George Weissman, and Håkan Agren all took part in the race, and he streamed the whole thing. So if you go to Mitchie Hoyer on YouTube, you'll be able to watch the 12-hour event and see the efforts of Avid Chronic Racing with our good friends Mitchie, George, and Håkan. In addition to that, here's a repost here of the Nikki theme. Funny guy. He's a funny guy. Oh, there you go. 90,000 kroners? Is that what he called it? Is that the Danish dollar? 300 of that came from Mitchie's stream on their own. So very good job to everybody else out there. Benjamin Worthen says, breaking news, Arriva Bean out at Ferrari F1. Oh, yes, yes, that's the head of Ferrari F1. I heard this earlier, too. Here, we're going to pull that up. I guess it's not sim racing news, but maybe this is sim racing news. Oh, page not found, by the way, on that link. I'll tell you how this is sim racing news. If you think about it, there's only one team that didn't show up to the F1 2018 Esport Championship. That was Ferrari. Maybe that's why. Maybe it was the decision to not be part of that had Ferrari say, hey, dude, we're not doing that great on the track. You know, we didn't win the championship, and you didn't even have the sense to join this esport thing. It was a gimme, and you said no. Team. $1 equals $6.51 Danish crown. Cool. Anyway, that is the end of the news. Great job, Nikki. Great job, Mitchie Hoyer. I love when I hear charity events, and you know what I love even more? When they're somewhat successful and a decent amount of money was raised in order to hand it over to the charity. Sometimes you hear about charities in sim racing, and in the end, it's like after a whole event, it's like, okay, and here's our check for $35 to the, it's like that episode, there was an episode of The Office. It's like, it costs more to print that giant check than the donation made. Anyway, that is going to do it for today's news. Hopefully, we are going to see a pickup in news. I'll be here Wednesday. It might just be a short show like today. We'll be here Friday. When I say we, I mean me, Billy Strange, and Brandon Waters producing the show in the background. The detached head, as we call him. Anyway, or the talking voice without a head. But that is going to do it for this one. Thank you for being here. Happy January. Happy 2019. Get out there, do some racing. This is the Simpit. I'm Sean Cole, and I'll see you on the track.